Welcome back to Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle, where we invite professionals in their fields to educate and inspire our viewers to feel healthier, more balanced and live a quality lifestyle. And today, for a viewer's request, we have Claire Besley with us, who's an emotional health expert and talking to us about emotional health today. And so, Claire, why do you think that there's an epidemic of anxiety and depression in Australia?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Obviously, it's rampant. We all know about it. We've all either had it or we know someone else who's had it. The reason that I think the epidemic is as big as it is and why it's continuously growing and not reducing is because we're living in a society where we're actually taught that to be angry or to be sad or to be disappointed is unhealthy. And so what we do is when these emotions come up, instead of actually allowing them to process, we push them back down, we judge ourselves for having them, and we try not to feel them. And whenever we don't allow ourselves to feel our emotions, they actually build up inside of us and they can get to a point of being uncontrollable. So we can have a panic attack, as an example. So I think that the reason that this epidemic is growing and not reducing is because we are approaching it from a medical perspective of what can we do to reduce it by giving you a tablet, rather than going, how can we help you to efficiently process emotion so that it doesn't build up to the point where you're needing to go to hospital.
And so then what would be the difference between emotional health and mental health?
Yeah, there's a very big difference between mental health and emotional health. And I think in society today, we really are talking and focusing on mental health. Personally, I think if we shifted our focus from mental health to emotional health, we'd actually see a dramatic change in results. They would increase rapidly. Mental health is focused on our thoughts, our processes that we're having cognitively in our minds. Emotional health, when we focus on that, we're actually looking at what is the emotions that are building up in our physical bodies. How much emotion is repressed in our physical body. So when we focus on the body and the emotions in there and we actually learn to release them in a healthy way, the mind clears on its own. So the current approach to let's solve everything from the focus of the mind is treating us as if that's all we are, whereas if we approach healing and becoming well from a focus on emotional health, then the mind actually resolves itself and we kind of kill two birds with one stone. So there's a huge difference, and that focus must shift to one of emotional health if we want to have much better results and a healthier nation.
So what do you think we can do to help resolve that situation?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Look, it's actually incredibly simple. A lot of the work that I do is actually helping people on a daily basis to release the blocked emotions and beliefs that live in the body that cause illness. So the best thing that we can start to do, number one, as a society, is stop having a negative view of people that are having negative emotions. So when you know someone who's angry or someone who's sad, instead of telling them how you'll get over it, sit with them and say, I know you're feeling angry. How about I sit with you in that and allow you to feel that right through, rather than trying to get you to talk you out of it or tell someone why they shouldn't be angry. We teach them to actually embrace it. It's healthy, it's good, and let's feel it together. And once we have a society where we're constantly embracing every kind of emotion, shame, guilt, sadness, apathy, indifference, once we all learn to embrace each other's emotions, we'll start to process them in a much more healthy way, because there won't be the judgment stopping us from experiencing them, and we'll stop suppressing them because we'll realise that they're valuable.
And Claire, could you give us some examples about that, how this emotional health and the differences there is playing out?
Yeah. Look, I think, we've got this fantastic Are You OK movement, which I love. But my challenge with it is, if we learn to ask everyone, are you OK, what do we do when they say, no, I'm not? Typically then, we might get them to discuss it a little bit more, and they might say, I'm having suicidal thoughts. I don't really want to be here anymore. That's a pretty difficult thing for someone on the other side of that are you OK question to be able to cope with. And typically our response is, no, you're going to be okay, your life's amazing, I'll help you through it, everything's going to be all right. What I think needs to shift is we actually need to allow people to have these feelings and recognise that they're just emotions. So instead of immediately trying to talk somebody out of experiencing that emotion, maybe it's time for us to say, you know what, it's okay for you to feel like that. And how about I sit here with you and actually we go into those feelings, and how about I feel your grief with you? Because at the other side of feeling that grief is a release. And that person will then quite often shift out of that state and no longer have those thoughts, because the thoughts are just the response to the feelings. So I'd love to see the Are You OK movement extended a little bit to what do we do when they say that they're not okay, and how do we help them embrace what they're feeling, allow their body to process it and metabolize it, so their mind then recognizes, actually, no, I don't want to die. This is something I do on a daily basis. I've done this with hundreds of clients now. I don't run away from their pain. I go into it with them and enable them to process it. And I don't believe this is just only something for therapists to do. I believe everybody has a role in society to help everybody as much and as often as we can. So I think extending the Are You OK to allowing emotion would be the best thing we could do together.
And in the Australian society, that'd be a great thing to incorporate to people to be aware of, that it's okay. It is okay. Yeah. And just relax a little bit about.
That's right. And I think that the challenge is we can't deal with other people's emotions. It's scary to have someone you love or someone you know expressing these horrible, scary thoughts. But the reason that it's so difficult for us is because we're not comfortable with our own emotions. We suddenly feel scared ourselves when someone's saying that to us. And because we don't know how to process and accept our own, it makes it even harder for us to accept someone we love that's experiencing emotion. So the first thing we have to do is start to trust and allow ourselves without judgment to experience our emotions as they come up, and recognise that emotions are beautiful and we need all of them. You can't feel love and joy without having experienced grief and anger. We can't dismiss half of them and only want the others. Life is a balance. And so really understanding, okay, I'm angry today, this is not bad, this is good, let me feel into it and allow it to move. And then you might even move to courage or joy, and then you'll realise that anger was of great benefit to you. But while we're saying repress it, repress it, repress it, people end up going out and getting aggressive because it's built up inside. This is the movement that must take place if we want to rid ourselves of depression and anxiety. This must occur.
Well, that's wonderful, Claire. Great to have you on board today. And for more information on Claire and emotional health, then please go to our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And after the break, we have another viewer's request, Diana Jacobson talking about unlocking the wealth in you. And now our next guest is Diana Jacobson, who is a wealth advisor and is here today to talk to us about unlocking the wealthy you. Welcome, Diana.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
Just discovering the wealthy us inside. Yep. What do you suggest would people need any special tools or things to go to do that?
So let me explain this. The main thing we need is a magic wand. Okay, so to unlock the wealthy you, we're not just talking about finance and money and material things. We're talking about holistic wealth, that sense of well-being within us. So our health, our happiness, relationships, fun, love, laughter, our choices, freedom, opportunities, doing the things that we enjoy, hanging out with the people that are fun, whether it's walking in nature, hobbies, art, music, all of those sorts of things that we want to do that make our life feel great and make us feel wealthy. Because I know it sounds really cosmic, but people think that when I have money, then I'll be wealthy, but it actually works the other way around. And when we feel wealthy over all of those small things, when we feel abundance and prosperity with all of those small facets of our life, then we kind of magnetise and draw other things to us, and we can start to build that. So I suggest if people get their magic wand and say, how would I like my life to look? Who is the wealthy me? How do I want to be? How do I want to feel? What does that entail? And start to have some fun with that. So the wand is to jump ahead of all the limitations. So I'm too old, I'm too young, I don't have enough money, I don't have the right education, or somebody won't like it. And then start to build that picture so that we can create it.
Could anyone do this alone?
Well, look, we need a team, and then we build the team around it. It's the same as with building a house. We have, carpenters and tilers and plumbers and electricians and painters and so on. We need the team of people to do the things that they're good at so that we can do the things that we're good at. So when it comes to financial and legal and business and all of those sorts of things that all of us need to take care of, households, individuals, families, business owners, we need to take responsibility for those things. So it's about building that team of those people that are our advisors and our mentors in the areas and working with them. So look at who we know about. So traditionally we know about the accountant. We know that we go to the accountant and normally that's to get our tax return done once a year. What we don't know is that perhaps we need to work with them on a more longer term strategy, whether that's around capital gains tax for future, whether it's GST, whatever's relevant to us. But what we need to know about the financial services regime in Australia now is that it's very narrow, and accountants can only talk about tax and not about superannuation, for instance, or lending or legal or other things. So therefore we do need a financial planner, and people think that they only need a financial planner when they have money, because that's what you do. However, we need a financial planner to look after our money. Predominantly they look after our superannuation, so most people will have a superannuation fund from a job at some point, and there are always fees in superannuation, contrary to some of the advertising, so it's important that we make informed choices about what our super is invested in, what it's costing us. And something that a lot of people don't know is that there's insurances held in superannuation, personal insurances, things like life insurance, income protection and disability insurance. And that can be really beneficial and cost effective, because a lot of families are underinsured because they don't have the cash flow, but they don't realise it can be through their super. You also need a solicitor, which historically people have had just to do their wills. They do them once, they park them there for 20 or 30 years and they don't revisit them again. They really should be looking at them a little bit more often. Have the understanding that a normal garden variety will doesn't cover a lot of the business entities. So if you've got a company or a family trust or something like that, and superannuation has its own rules, so just be mindful that the will that people set up years ago may not be relevant for their circumstances now. And also ask the question of your advisor there, your solicitor, around young children, so guardianship, testamentary trusts, so that assets are not handed direct to minor children or to anyone under a disability, or just someone that you mightn't want to hand the capital to, but they can benefit from the proceeds of that for their welfare. And powers of attorney is another thing that people need to have in place, but they often don't. And that's something that acts while you're still alive, so someone else can make decisions for you if necessary. A lot of the time people just have their spouse make those, hold that power of attorney, but if you're going to be travelling overseas or travelling in a car, chances are you'll be with your spouse, so have someone else as well. Debt is a big part. Loans brokers. Have debt restructured. A lot of our leakages that erode the wealthy us come through poorly managed, poorly structured debt. And there are a lot of ways that our mortgages, business loans, car loans and credit cards could be better set up, more tax effective, more cost effective. So get some good advice on that. And insurance brokers similarly, so general insurances, your house, your car, your contents, your business, make sure that that's covered properly. And the big kicker with this team is to have someone that leads it. So individually, this won't be the thing for most people. They won't want to do this. They won't want to understand it and they won't want to know all the details. And nor should they. That's what those specialists are there for. But find someone in that team that can lead that team and get that integrated and cohesive, because where I see a lot of the leakages are all of these disparate pieces of advice, but nobody gets them to meet in the middle. So there's not the cohesion in that strategy and structure.
And Diana, could you give us an example of maybe a case study or someone that has been helped in this way?
Certainly. So a phone call might be around managing money, and in that would be, what are your tax entities? And have you done your tax returns? Have you prepared for capital gains tax or something down the track? Are you on track with GST or whatever might be relevant there? But then there are also the things in there. Superannuation, is that being looked after? Are the insurances in place? For a family that might be eligible for Centrelink, there'll be things like family tax benefit or perhaps a disability support pension, or for older people, pre-retirement, so not to leave any of that planning till the last minute, so that the financial planner can get things in place for any eligibility for age pension and later on for aged care. Obviously in that comes estate planning as well, so that's a solicitor and making sure the wills and so forth are up to date, and people looking to clear out their home mortgage or make sure that they're not having leakages unnecessarily through that field. So there's your loans broker. And obviously we all have insurance over our properties, and there's your insurance broker. So for one conversation about how can I retain more of my money, how can I make sure that my affairs are sorted and that I don't have to think about them and I'm going out doing my fun stuff, straight away there's 5 different qualifications needed to have that conversation about how to plug the gaps and retain more of your wealth, protect your assets, minimise tax, maximise your cash flow and not have to think about it.
What would you say that people could take away? What would be your top tip for them to take away today for the viewers out there?
Is not to make it too hard. Like, have some fun with the magic wand with how do I want this to look and how do I want to be as the wealthy me in all aspects of life. Find the team that you trust and can communicate with, but take the first step. When you take one step towards a goal, the universe will bring that goal one step towards you.
Thank you, Diana. That's just wonderful. For more information on Diana, please go to our website. Thank you. After the break, we have John Gostre here with us to talk about the benefits of corporate massage. Welcome back. We have John here today, who is a remedial therapist, and he's here today to talk to us about corporate massage. So, welcome, John.
Thanks, Linda.
Now, what would you say are the top benefits of massage in the workplace?
Massage therapy for an individual is a major component of their physical well-being. So wellness and staff well-being is a really important topic these days. A lot of organisations are investing in staff wellness. So to have physical therapy at the workplace for people gives them the opportunity for physical change in their body, which can lead to de-stress, a mental refresh and a real chance to refocus going forward for the rest of the day. A lot of people, when they have access to a table massage in the workplace, it's generally back, soreness, shoulders, neck, usually go for a back, shoulders, neck sequence of massage. People, they get bad posture habits over a period of time, especially sitting at a desk looking at the screen all day, so puts a lot of stress on the muscles in the back and the shoulders. So I like to get a good release through the shoulders and neck, and really helps people feeling a lot lighter when they leave their treatment, and a bit refocus going forward for the rest of the day.
So what would be the difference then between, say, if people were in the workplace, can they be on a table or is it better in a chair? What's the recommended way?
Sure, so 2 ways you can go about workplace massage. Obviously, the table massage is a bit longer, drawn-out sort of treatment, but the seated massage is something a lot of places go for, especially in a corporate environment. It's a lot more accessible to have more people come through that in the time frame. So seated massage certainly has its benefits as well. Gives people the opportunity to get away from their workspace and turn their brain off for a little bit. It's still got the element of human touch, which goes towards some relaxation, and obviously all that together goes towards a mental refresh, and it's either way, massage can be an uplifting experience for somebody, and certainly something people look forward to when they're off to work that day, to have that supplied for them.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. And what would you encourage people to take on corporate massage, or any sort of massage, really, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah. What would be the difference between corporate and other massage, for instance?
So corporate massage, a lot of people involved in a high stress, high pressure environment, so it's good to encourage people to get away from their workspace for even if it's a brief period of time in the day, and help them refocus, as well as having some de-stress and physical change in their body. It's not just for corporate environment. A lot of people on the tools and these sorts of things, they can develop muscle tension as well as stress. So massage certainly works in any situation, whether it be in the office, people on the computer desk, or on the tools.
Do you have a tip for anyone out there who, for instance, about massage, or what would be your absolute top tip, for instance?
For massage, I would say have it. If you don't have access to it, try and do that. It's a major component for people's physical well-being, but you can't underestimate how much a good, strong treatment can contribute to a positive mindset for an individual. And if a lot of people in the one workplace can access that, it certainly contributes to a happy work environment.
And for more information on John or corporate massage, please go to our website. Thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing you next week here on Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle. Thank you.